Ray. Welcome back to our channel. If you guys have already read the title of this video, then you know why we're here today, so there's no need for us to go into details about that. Today we're going to go ahead and discuss hair types. So let's just go ahead and get right into the video.
So we feel you guys, decoding your hair type can be super confusing. Several different hair textures can exist on your head at one time. And that could be confusing. So, you know, we're here today to let you know about all of the hair types. Your curl type is determined by the shape of the follicle that your hair grows out of from your scalp. So the flatter or more oval shaped the follicle, the curlier your hair. Your curl pattern is also identified by the shape that the strands of hair make, whether they kink, curve, or wind around themselves in a spiral. So you may have a combination of, say, kinky, coily, wavy, and curly hair all in your head at once. So we about to help y'all out with this because this is a lot, okay?
It really is.
And remember, we were very confused about our hair types in the last hair video we did about what's, you know, what good products are for your hair. So we're helping ourselves by helping y'all.
Yeah, so make sure y'all get y'all pen and y'all pads out because it is a lot of information. And honestly, if you don't write it down, I don't know how you're going to remember it. First, we're going to go ahead and let you guys know that there are many hair types out there, starting from hair type 1, which is very bone straight. It will not curl for nothing. It's kind of like Asian hair. Like if you ever seen an Asian person's hair, it's very, very straight. So it's that kind of hair all the way up until 4C hair. But we're literally going to try to just focus on the 4 type hair because that's what we have on our heads and that's what I'm most familiar with. We'll try to like give you little details on other stuff if we do know about it, but we're gonna focus on the 4 type hair. So for 4A hair, I think I'm a mixture of 4A and 4B. With 4A hair, they claim that it's loose curls, it's a wider curl, and the hair doesn't interlock with each other when it's curling up, so the hair independently grows into its own curls and it won't get twisted up in a way. In a simple way to say it, I guess. Which
in turn means that they have way less breakage.
Right. So 4A hair is less likely to break because of that. 4B hair, though, it is still curly as well, but it's a tighter curl. It's still not a coil, but it's a tight curl pattern. 4B is subject to break when 4A has a less likely chance to break. And then 4C hair, it's not necessarily curly. They call it coils when it comes to 4C because when you're looking at that type of hair with your naked eye, it kind of just looks like an afro in a sense. You won't necessarily see the curl definition clearly unless you actually get in, wet the hair, and really get close up on that 4C hair. So that might be able to help you guys a little bit more because I always used to say I had 4C hair just because I figured my hair was a little rough when it was dry, but I don't have 4C. I have, I guess, a mixture of 4A and 4B because the front of my hair is a little more fine and the curls aren't as tight as the back. What about you?
After we finish talking about everything, then I'll tell you.
You'll figure it out? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So the hair chart is something that you can use to reference, you know, what kind of hair you have and just make it easier for you to explain it to other people because I feel like before I looked at the hair chart, I was just going with 4C like I said. But once I looked at it, I'm like, okay, I could kind of see where my hair is at. But I also don't feel like just using the chart is the only way to figure out what type of hair you have.
Okay, so I'm going to be telling you guys the way to type your hair. When I say type your hair, I mean, is your hair normal? Is it thick or is it thin? Because you can have a 4A type with thick, thin, or normal hair. So I'm just going to help you guys decipher that. So how to figure out the thickness or thinness or normalness of your hair. You'll take a piece of thread and you'll take your strand of hair, and if your hair feels like the piece of thread, I guess, and like the thickness, then you have normal hair. If your strand feels thinner than a piece of thread, then your hair is considered fine. And if your hair feels like it might be a little thicker than the thread, then you have thick hair. So that is how you'll figure out what hair type you are between normal, thin, and coarse, or normal, thick, and thin, however you want to.
Right. Yeah. So like the example I used earlier with Asian people. So Asian people have mostly they have 1 to like 2A hair, like it's very, very straight hair, but their strands are not thin and fine. It's actually very thick. So a lot of people compare their hair when talking about this, like their hair is technically coarse and it's still 1. Like, so that just because you have a certain curl pattern or curl type doesn't mean that your hair is not coarse or it won't be fine. Like, that doesn't determine the difference.
I hope we're
if that makes sense. If that makes sense to you. But you can still go on Google and stuff like that if you need more information. But
or leave some comments down below. We'll help you out.
That's a fact. If you have any more questions, leave them down below and we will clarify things for you. When assessing your hair, it's not only about the texture of the hair, but it also comes down to how thick each strand is as well. So like she said, compare here to that thread, figure out what's going on there.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys know, our 4A, 4B, and 4C people, what type of hair products they should use for their hair type. So 4A is like that S curl pattern, right? I believe wash and goes is like a good style for people with 4A hair. So a curling cream with a leave-in moisturizer are really good products to use for 4A hair, and really good products to use if you want to do that wash and go style. So 4B is more of a Z shape, so it just be bending however you guys saw on the chart. So for B hair, you want to use more creams because this hair type is thicker, and so creams are good for palm rolling or shingling. So you can use creams for the 4B hair type. And like we stated earlier, 4B and 4C is very similar, but 4C hair is just way more prone to breakage. It's a lot drier, doesn't retain moisture a lot. So for 4C hair, you want to use a liberal amount of leave-in moisturizer. And also use the LOC or LCO method. I would recommend the LCO method because oil is supposed to lock in the moisture, and since 4C hair has a hard time retaining moisture and it's very dry, I would use a lot of leave-in and then use a cream and then use an oil to seal in that that moisture for the 4C hair. We here with y'all. It's rough out here.
So we just want to talk a little bit about shrinkage as well, because I have a funny story. We have friends who have other hair types, like they're in the 3 section and the 2s, and we were talking about shrinkage one day and they were literally looking at me like they didn't understand my shrinkage story, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I didn't realize you guys probably literally don't understand what I mean when I say my hair has gone from 10 inches to 5 inches. Like, so I just want to go ahead and talk a little bit about shrinkage because it is not the same for all hair types. So when shrinkage occurs in 4A hair, it is still closer to their natural length that it would be if their hair was straight. So for example, if they have 20-inch hair and they're experiencing shrinkage, it will look like they have 18 inches of hair when their hair is wet and curly in that state. If you have 4B hair, your shrinkage is 50% of your natural, your hair in its straight stage. So if you have 20 inches of hair, it will look like you have 10 inches of hair when your hair is wet and curly, which is crazy. And then if you have 4C, unfortunately the shrinkage is just straight up real. It is 25% of the length that it will show. So if your hair is 20 inches and you have 4C hair, it will literally look like you have 5 inches of hair, which is insane. And it is just interesting to me that our hair even does all of this, just depending on how the curl pattern is and how it grows out of your scalp. Hair is so amazing.
And in order to see your true curl pattern, soak it with some water.
Yeah.
Soak it with water, and then however it looks while it's soaked in water, like that is your curl pattern.
Right. Also, when you have 4A hair, we're talking about styling now. So if you have 4A hair, your hair is less likely to last in style. So let's say someone with 4A hair tries to get braids, their braids are likely to get messed up faster because they have a finer texture of hair. Their hair is a little more soft and it just cannot hold the style that long. So they most likely can hold the style for about 2 days. And this does not literally go for every single person that may watch this video. Everyone's hair is still subject to how it is on their head. Even if you have 4A, your hair probably could last in the style for 7 days. We don't know. We're just going by the main facts that have been written. If you have 4B hair, your hair is likely to hold a style for up to about a week and a week and a half. When I read that, I was really like, huh? Because I've kept like cornrows in for like 2 weeks and I feel like I could have left it in longer. So I don't know how true that is. But 4C hair holds hairstyles the longest because 4C hair is made to defy gravity. That is literally what it said. So they can hold hairstyles in up to 2 weeks and it's not gonna move because 4C is the best hair for styles. And also,
I agree with that.
Also, if they said if a 4C person does, like, you see how I can't do a twist out and it will look good all the time. It will not. Like, it depends on how long I left those little twisties in, those braids in. But they said if someone 4C hair, their hair will literally hold the style.
I disagree.
I mean, I have 4C hair.
A fro still when they take it out.
Don't violate the, you know what?
True, like, with 4C hair, like, for me, like, what I've seen is that when people try to define the hair, it's very hard to. So, like,
oh, wow.
I've seen people with 4C hair leave their hair in braids for days, weeks, and then when they take it out, it's still just a fro. So, I don't know that I agree with that much, but I'm not the expert.
That's on me. I mean, 4C people, write us in the comments and let us know how your hair works, because like I said, I'm not really sure. That's what the claims say, but she's seen it for her own self and she doesn't agree. So y'all let us know how that 4C hair really holds up.
And that's why they get so frustrated and they just like, my hair is just so dry and it's just so nappy, and if it breaks the comb, like, they get very frustrated because it's just very hard to do anything with that hair type.
We feel y'all pain though.
Yes.
Because I think it's strange too though, because when I was younger, my hair used to break combs. Like, literally.
But that's because your mom didn't know how to properly moisturize it and take care of it like how we know how to do it now.
Right. So I was gonna say that basically, when we were growing up, our parents were pressing our hair, doing all type of stuff, just trying to tame it as best as they could. But now we have all these products and the natural hair game is just through the roof. So we really know how to work with our hair now, and I'm so happy that we do, because I probably still would have been getting perms thinking that that's helping me in some type of way when it really wasn't.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the difference between a curl and a coil. So with a curl, it's very easy to see that the hair is spiraling. It's very clear to the naked eye that the hair is a curl. Like, you don't have to really get all up in there to see that the hair is curling. And then with a coil, and you basically explained this earlier though, and then and then with the coil, like, the hair is just very, very tight that you have to get close up on it to see that it's actually even a curl.
Right. So basically, they're saying that it's a diameter thing. So with the curls, the diameter is a little bigger. So when you're looking at it, oh, that's a curl. You can see it. With the coil, it's like science. You really have to get close up on it to see those coils and curls inside of that person's 4C hair. So it's just a easy way to say, okay, I clearly don't have 4C hair.
Right.
So you learn something new every day. All right, and lastly, another thing you can do to test out what your hair type is take the porosity test. We do plan on taking the porosity test on our hair in our next video, so I'm not going to go too much into details on that. But basically, porosity is just a test to see if your hair will absorb moisture and water or if it will repel it. So we're going to definitely take that test, and we'll make another video on that, and you guys should stay tuned and make sure you tune into that. But thank you guys for watching this video.
We hope it's been helpful, because figuring out your hair type is super confusing.
Oh, trust me.
And I'm still gonna go with 4B. Like, I definitely feel like I'm a 4B all around.
All around?
My hair will shrink. Like, it will shrink, but you can still see like a curl pattern. So I know it's not 4C. But it's 4B. I definitely don't think I'm 4A. I might have 4A in the front because my hair in the front is just a mess. Like,
I can't.
But that's the thing. Like, I don't feel like my hair has a Z pattern. Like, I feel like it's a circular pattern, but I still don't feel like it's very, very tight like a 4C curl.
That's the only thing I can say about the hair chart. The fact that they even have a zigzag pattern up there is weird to me. I don't think anyone's hair that I know zigzags. Literally, like, your hair, it has to be a circular motion in some way, but maybe I haven't ran into those 4B girls who have that zigzag pattern. Listen, hair is amazing, and I feel like no one is ever gonna really know their exact hair type, because our hair is always changing. Even if you perm your hair or you put any type of product, chemical in your hair, is gonna change your hair texture. So if you dye your hair and you're still natural, you can go from 4C to 4B, like, literally just because you put a color in your hair. So literally, hair is amazing, and it changes all the time depending on what you use on it, in it, what you do to it. So yeah, treat your hair nice.
So make sure you guys like, comment,
and subscribe.
Because I know y'all gotta love us by now.
I know.
Alright, leave us some comments down below if you have any questions. We answer questions, so make sure you guys leave us some questions, some comments, anything, and we will see you in our next one on the porosity video.
Yes, I can't wait to take that test. So we'll see you there. Bye.